Hey guys, welcome back to the Dorky and 40 channel. I am Chad. Today we're going to be talking about my recent racing and things that we played with the Losi Nascar. Now, you guys know that I'm a firm believer in this car and I really want it to be successful. You can check out my playlist up here and in the description below of all the things that we have done to this car. Now, I've driven people's cars that are straight out of the box and the things drive better than mine does. So I don't know if this stuff was self-inflicted or if there is just an issue that I just do not know. Now, I have actually purchased another one. I am a firm believer in this class. We've got a ton of oval races coming up in the area in December and January, and the Losi Nascar box stock is one of the classes. I can race this, I can race my sportsman truck. It'll just be awesome. And this car, hopefully you don't have to think about it. You just get out there and run it and see what happens. Now, in our last club race, I won. Yeah, I'll show you that here in the video. It was a great race and was able to actually finish in the end. Didn't have the best driving car. The car is fast. It'll turn a decent hot lap, but it just won't consistently get around the track no matter how I try to drive it. It likes to pull, it likes to push, it does all kinds of things. And when I watch other people's video and drive their cars, they are way more drivable than this one. One other thing I'll talk about is the tires. The tires themselves are super grippy, this compound. And when you're on a track with a lot of people, you really got to be careful. I know a lot of people just love to slather up their tires with traction compound. They think that you need it. With certain compounds, especially like this, you do not need it. If you see your car starting to do this, then that means that you need to quit it with the compound. Maybe just do a little bead on the inside edge here to kind of help give you a little bit more steering and pull you around the corner. The other thing is heavy tire glue. Now, typically I would just glue a sidewall of the tire, but you can see on this one here that I have glued up around the radius on there, and perhaps that is leading to some of my inconsistent behavior, because that corner of the car is going to roll the hardest when you are going and turning left and oval, and maybe it's just riding on that a little too hard, and that's why it wants to kind of push and pull and everything else. I'm not sure. Now, I'm not touching or doing anything to the new car at all. I'm not even going to put a transponder in it. I'm going to take it out to the track, run it, and just see what it is like. Burn in the tires, of course. Maybe I'll even take the tires off of this one, throw it on that one, and see what happens. Try to duplicate and see if I can figure out what's going on. Now, I have put it on the bench next to this one and done some of the comparisons, and we're going to do more of a comparison video on it down the road. But the things I did as far as like modifying the hole here so I could get steering and all that kind of stuff, that stuff actually is not present on the car. And I look at the cars and I look at everything, and they are literally built exactly the same. So I honestly have no idea what the hell is going on with this thing. One thing I have noticed is the batteries. Since I have a couple batteries from these now, I've got a couple batteries from my Granite Grom and the Typhon Grom, is that the batteries themselves will really they're really worth a lot of time, especially in a big race. I would say when I am turning my best hot laps, I'm going on our track around a 4.2 to a 4.3. I kind of got, I think, to a 4.3 was as fast as I could get during our big oval race that we had with multiple classes and like 60 entries. It was a great day. There was 3 heats of Losis. I think I might have bumped to the B and then like finished last in the B. I can't actually remember. Honestly, don't even remember, because it was just a horrible performance. But what I did notice that day was that if I did not have the correct batteries in, because I was at that time, I didn't decide to keep track of which one was better simply by a speed performance. The Spectrum Charger will give you readouts as far as how many times they've been cycled and the internal resistance of them and all that kind of stuff. That's the $60 like Spectrum charger that I use. But I think that like I have a battery that has like 40 cycles on it that is actually like my fastest battery. So, you know, sometimes newer just isn't better, and they make these batteries in lots and everything else. I had a fan go out in this thing already, so the fan blew up. Haven't, you know, did that. I tried a different motor. So I bought a replacement motor. I bought replacement shocks. I put the new replacement shocks back on there. The shocks that come out of the kit they basically have zero rebound into them. So I believe that is the key. And mine with the Hexter oil has rebound in it. So I think the shocks are really just something that you just don't want to touch. Leave them the way they are. Don't mess with them. Don't be worried about changing oil. Just use the collars to set your ride height. The other thing is that like they're really not that durable when it comes to like threading and unthreading constantly to like change these things. So I think it's best to just think of these things as like a lubricated type of shocks. Now I know a lot of people are like, whatever, you know, we are running a box stock class, but just because, you know, I really want to see what this can do. And now that they actually are releasing a drop-in brushless system, we've got, I bought the on-road tuning spring set, but I haven't even played with it because I haven't ran this thing on road, and you know, it's not legal right now anyway, but you know, I still want to test it and see what it can do. But I don't have a car that drives consistently, so they've just been kind of sitting here, you know, marinating and everything. But I have those, and then I did pick up one of the Losi heat sinks as well that snaps onto the motor. Now, what I'm going to do with this is, because these motors get super hot, is in between heats, what I'll do is pop this motor on and plug in another fan and just lay the fan, you know, mount it on top of here to like help cool the motor off a little bit. Again, if you've got a good battery, a good running car, and a cooler motor, then we should be able to get greater speeds. That's just kind of how you get the most out of like these RTR cars. That and like things like the tire prep, and also things like the gluing and stuff. Now, if you take a look at the car too on the front, it might be kind of hard to tell, but you could definitely see, I think in this angle, how the tire on the left is ballooned and misshapen compared to the tire on the right. And that's just, you know, after, man, a month, you know, whatever, 5-6 races. So the tires themselves are definitely, you know, it sucks that they're not a belted tire, but then they would probably cost twice as much. But they're definitely going to start ballooning out instead of like cambering out, which kind of sucks, because for oval, I would hope that they would kind of like camber out a little bit, and that way it would give the car like a little bit more of that steering type of effect that we want, and being able to hold the power a little bit. But instead they're ballooning, and what that's doing is just creating even more tipping and instability and everything else in the car. So come back for the video. We'll do the comparison. I'm going to take you guys into the club race that we had, which had a spectacular finish where I took it on the first lap, on the last lap. Again, I was not the fastest car, but when these cars get into a tangle, anything can happen. The Losi NASCAR race, if you don't have it, they will not, you can't catch up with people very fast with these cars, especially again, if you don't have a car that drives very well. So when accidents happen and you can take advantage of it, that's when you got to make your move. And that is what I did. So let's go. Unbelievable.
Hit the brakes, so I wasn't ready. That was all about that to get my right speed.
Chad just kicked your ass, man.
I got him right on the last fucking lap. Thank God for traffic. Of course, I cut the ice about 50 times, but wow, photo finish right there. I saw you got stuck behind that one of those green cars, and I was like, "This is my, I'm gonna get him."
That was awesome. Dude, did you see my one?
I finally
I
didn't.
spun out down here. My back end came around. And I literally.
You gotta do that. You gotta do that. Oh shit! That could be the end of this car. You gotta do that carpet burnout, man. That I didn't have a problem all night.
The back end came around. It was so funny because